Cool beans. So yeah, we were set up as a network in 2010, and in 2014 we got our first bit of European, or not European, our first bit of Arts Council funding officially, but in 2013 was when we joined our first European network, Circus, and I'm going to come and talk to that a bit in a second. But first of all, like our vision is to be a leading example of an artist-first members network. So what Niamh was saying about the artist-run network, it's about being led by artists, being driven by artists, being focused on artists and answering to that need. And obviously our need is around circus, street arts and spectacle, three art forms that don't really fit the mould or don't really fit the establishment or the model. So that whole idea that Guy was talking about, that idea of legitimacy and recognition and advocacy and unity in that respect is kind of a key part of how we as a network were formed. So we are a network. So when you talk about the value of a network, like we are a network, it's all about being a community and a group and helping each other out. So that's our mission. To celebrate our art forms, advocate for the policy and practical changes that will allow our art forms to flourish, grow our membership and sustain our organisation. And in terms of growing our membership, that's the growth of our network over the last few years. And obviously this is 2022, we'll have 2023's figures, you know, in a few months. But it's just grown and grown and grown, way beyond what I ever imagined, or what I think many of us ever imagined even existed in this sector. And like where we started in 2010, 11, 12, you know, just as a group of hopefuls, you know, we knew everybody. We knew everybody, like, intimately and personally and directly, as friends, as pals, as colleagues. We were, you know, in the same boat together, rowing as hard as we could, and that's why we came as a network. It was easy to get everybody onto the boat. But now, with 239, over the pandemic, things just exploded. I don't know everybody anymore. That's kind of terrifying for me. I used to know everybody in our network. And now I'm like going, who's this now? Chloe, what does she do again? Somebody remind me. And, you know, I like to know everybody. I like to know what they're doing, when they're doing it, how they're doing it. And I regularly just find myself ringing people up going, you know that thing we were talking about? How did it go? You know, tell me, fill me in. I need to fill in the gaps. So, but of course, I can't do that at the same frequency when there's 239 people. Like, that's a lot of phone calls every day. But that's where we are in terms of scale. So the scale of the operation is exploding. So that just tells me there's a demand for being part of a network. And here's where our lovely network members live and are based, and this is 2022, and you can see they're spread all across Ireland, and the clever ones among you will realise in 2022 there wasn't any membership in that strange Midland area called Roscommon. But I am so pleased that in 2023 we have a Roscommon member, Elisa Missel, right there in the room. Elisa is from, she's from Germany via Roscommon and has set up the first contemporary creation, circus creation space in the middle of Roscommon in a church, not dissimilar to this, maybe just take off the sides and bring the roof down a little bit. But she calls it a chapel, motion chapel. And it's up and coming, and I believe it's just got some European funding. Yeah. Do you want to tell us what that was, Elisa?
Just real quick, I came across the cultural youth funding, and there was a call from residents' notes for the movie action. And I applied and went, it looked super interesting, and got very lucky and were awarded. And we'll have two groups of circus artists coming from Europe next year for a month to say this. And hopefully engage with the Irish community as well.
Yeah. So she's a bit of a go-getter. I'm kind of delighted she's part of our membership. And last week I was in Paris at our Circus Fresh conference, and there she was. So that's kind of working it. That's kind of working it, straight up. And a lot of our members are international. And that's because circus and street has always been a travelling game. We travel. We are a travelling art form. We don't stay in one place for long, and we regularly bring people from all over the world into our circle. And so a lot of our members are Irish people who have travelled and ended up in these places, or international people who have come here and gone back, and just, you know, that flow of human beings that happens a lot in our network. So we, as you can see, Sweden, Netherlands, Switzerland, Germany, Belgium, UK, Catalonia, Slovakia, Croatia, Lebanon and Palestine. And I'm really happy that in 2023 our Palestinian member has actually moved to Ireland now with his Irish wife and has had a baby. Huh, that's international networking. So we love them. Fadi and Juliet, she's a ballet dancer from Kildare, and he is a circus artist from Palestine who was deeply involved in setting up the first Palestinian circus school. So, and they now live in Wexford. Boom shakalaka. We live in Wexford. So this is how we support our members in lots of different ways. This is Lumen Street Theatre here in Limerick. They are an incredible community street arts outfit that do crazy things, and they're right now getting ready for the Samhain parade, which celebrates one of those old Irish stories about a ghost rising from the river. You'll just have to go and see it to experience it. I think she was something to do with the bishop. Anyone here from Limerick can fill me in? No? Mary, where are you? The bishop? The ghost? No? No, you'll have to go to Lumen to find out on Halloween. So we support our members in lots of different ways. We run an info hub. We do a lot of direct face-to-face mentoring and on the telephone mentoring and on the square Zoomy box thing mentoring. We share a lot of information and resources about, you know, funding calls, jobs, opportunities, trying to get people up and going. We do training. We do an awful lot of networking. We do promotion and we do advocacy. And the networking thing is a lot of members say to me often, oh God, networking, I hate it. I hate it. And I get it. I do. That word, it's such a turn off. Who would want to do networking? But I always have to say to them, what do you think networking actually is? And they go, you know, you have to know people and be confident and talk and stuff. And what do you think we're doing now? You know, oh yeah, but we're just having a drink. I'm like, yeah, but I know. But like, this is just the same. You're just going, you're meeting people. It might be a drink of coffee. It might be a drink of wine. It might be a drink of water. But you're just talking to people. It's the same. It's making friends. That's what we're doing. And, you know, we're all born with our family. You can't choose them. Sorry about that. But you can choose your friends. And you know, there's different layers of friends. There's the friends you went to primary school with. There's the friends in your local soccer club. There's the friends in your secondary school, your college. Whoa, you're starting to move into a little bit, oh, we get people now on the same wavelength as us, we're in college. But then you have to go out into the big bad world and you need professional friends. You need friends. Network that I got involved in my ISACS capacity. They're a European network for contemporary circus and outdoor arts. And this is, if you can see that, it's a bit faint, but there's a lot of green stuff going on in Europe there. That's because most of their members are in Europe. But you can see there's a member there in Canada, there's a member there in Chile, there's a member there in Australia, Madagascar, and Ghana, and Ethiopia, and Korea. So it's not just a European network, it's the world. So it is set up namely for European network. It's funded by the European Union under that network thing you were talking about. And it has loads of fantastic members. And they are like every time I gather together with them, it feels like we're having a little reunion. It's like, yes, my party, my tribe. I love them. And through them, we as ISACS, our little hub, which Niamh sort of said, sometimes you feel like you're this little thing out in the Atlantic, you know, and what are you doing here? But we, through that, have been able to open millions of doors to so many different projects for so many of our members. And they don't necessarily end up coming back through me or through ISACS, but they end up then going off and doing their own thing. So that's what's been so fantastic about Circus Strada, is we have a really strong relationship with people all over the place. They invite individual members. Circus Strada doesn't. Circus Strada only invites, what do you call it, resource organisations or festivals, organisations that are interested in developing the wider sector in their region. So they won't invite individual artists into Circus Strada. It's not that type of a network. So my advice to you would be review and research your network before you decide you're going to get on board, because you need to find a network that is relevant to you and that is what you wanted to do. So if you're an individual, you know, theatre practitioner, dance practitioner, performance artist, by all means, do join IETM. They are the ones for you. They are great. Is there anybody here who's part of IETM? There, himself. There, John Scott. So ask John Scott what it's like, because he probably knows more about it than me. Yes? Okay, I'll be quick now. So I'm not going to talk anymore about them because I don't actually know very much. But here are some examples of partnerships that we have been a part of or have evolved because of our international networking. So in one of the earlier slides, there was a gorgeous photo of the Wires Crossed project, a big, enormous high wire project over the River Corrib. That was led by Galway Community Circus. They have 700 children through their door every week, and they are involved in the Caravan Network, which is a network for youth and social circus. It is involving loads of different countries across Europe, but this particular project involved 10 European regions and 400 people who learned how to walk the wire over 5 years. He's from the Aerial Creation Centre, and it is a project. Do you want to tell us what it is? It's better if you tell us.
It's a resource organisation for circus artists. We're based nearby, and we're just finishing up our renovation, and you're all welcome to come and see it if you'd like. We're fully insulated, the first fully insulated circus space in Ireland, so very exciting.
And the Creative Europe project, it's with Denmark?
Denmark, Croatia, Mallorca, Ireland, Corfu, Sardinia, and Gran Canaria.
Okay, so I was running on last year's numbers. The project has expanded, and they've just got their second tranche of Creative Europe funding. And it's an island project, so it's particularly for regions that feel a little bit disconnected from Europe, and they're small, and they're underdeveloped, and they're super gorgeous. And 2 weeks ago, I was in Mallorca at the Cine Sinu project, because that's where it all started. I was invited to Mallorca in 2017. I saw their creation space. I said, this would be a perfect partnership with the Aerial Creation Centre. Next thing I talked to Chantal. She said, bring them over. I brought over the guy from Mallorca. He came to Limerick. He had a good chat with Chantal and a good wander around the space. And next thing, they were all together writing this fantastic Creative Europe project. That's networking in action. And now it's in the second iteration. And last week, he invited me back there to see the space now, and it's come on enormously. It's in an old cinema in the middle of this medieval town in the heart of Mallorca, not in the touristic, you know, ear tag zones, in the heart of Mallorca, and beautiful old medieval town. And they next year want to do an Irish focus at their festival, Cyclops. So that's hot news now, Kathleen and Eliza. There's going to be an Irish focus in Mallorca next year. I'm going. So, then there's also the Four Nations project with England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. That's led with Spree and in particular with Articulate in Scotland. Then there is the Artia, which was a project supported by the International Residency Initiative, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second, and also another Irish residency with Fiera Tarraga. So I'll be as quick as I can now because I know time is running down. So the International Residency Initiative, I love it. We need more of it. It's such a great idea. We went in for it last year. We called it Artia. We did it with our partners in Mallorca, another partner, in the brother of the other one, because, you know, it's a small place. We brought 2 Irish artists to Mallorca and 2 Mallorcan artists came here. They worked together with a gorgeous Mallorcan mentor in Saint-Étienne, and then the 2 Mallorcans, they were swimming in the Mediterranean in August. Then the 2 Mallorcans came here and went to Tralee in November, and we partnered with the Shim Satira and we borrowed their cottage in Ballyferriter, and they went swimming in the Atlantic in November. So, a bit of a culture shift, but it was great. And I met the 2 guys, they're in that top picture there, you can barely see them, but last week in Mallorca, and they've made this whole new show, which I hope is going to come to Ireland at some point. So that was what that was about. And now the next step on from that is the Arundel Arts Festival and the Cardia Sligo Arts Festival have partnered with Fiera Tarraga, which is this fantastic festival / marketplace / street arts / outdoor arts public space. Gorgeous festival that's been going for about 40 years in Tarraga, just outside Barcelona. And they're working with Kristen Fontanella and Rob Heaslip, 2 ISACS artists, together with the wonderful company Kamchatka and Joan Catala as their mentors in Tarraga. So we had them in Tarraga just this month, and they'll be starting work shortly. So thank you to the Irish Residency for that. And all those relationships come out of me and ISACS and us as people turning up and building friendships. That's it, nothing more. And opening doors. Also, you mentioned Culture Ireland, and I just wanted to give them a big shout out because they've been a huge support for us in bringing some of these international contacts that we've built over the years to Ireland. So every time we find somebody that we like, find somebody we have a synergy with, find somebody that we think, oh God, this could be good, we just invite them. We just invite them. And then we write a lovely little application to Kieran in Culture Ireland, and we tell them why they should bring over this person from wherever. So next month, I'm bringing over, I'm trying to think now, somebody from Germany, somebody from France, somebody from Mallorca again, and somebody from England to the National Circus Festival in Tralee. And they'll come and they'll meet our members and they'll meet our artists and they'll have time to hang out and have dinner and have drinks, and there'll be artist pitches and round tables and open forums and chats, and we'll just create opportunities for people to talk. That's our job, is making sure everybody gets in a room and talks. And then they can all do their own thing. And if things flower out of that, that's what we love. And then just back to Fiera Tarraga. This is, as I mentioned, this street arts festival and marketplace in Spain. And last year we brought this company, Hands Down Circus, to perform there. And right now they have a worldwide tour on their hands out of that one showing. From Luxembourg to Korea, as they say. They were very excited about going to Luxembourg. And I have never had any artist going to Luxembourg. So they literally just catapulted from being present in an international marketplace. So huge thanks to Culture Ireland, to Creative Europe, to Circus Strada, to the Arts Council for supporting us in all of those international things, because we do need the support in the end of the day. It's all very well having the chats, but you actually have to turn it into actual solid stuff that actually brings artists into the picture. And it's not just me having a jolly. I might have a jolly on the way, but that's why it works. So thank you so much. And that's my contact details.